My parents, who had never allowed me to date, suddenly pressured me into a series of arranged blind dates, 8 potential husbands in a row. Each time, I, who never touched alcohol, was carried home dead drunk. My parents never blamed me. Instead, they comforted me, saying it was normal for a grown-up to drink a little and not to overthink it. But then, I overheard them talking to my sister. Mom and Dad are so good to me, sending my sister to those 8 men. Once she's familiar with them, isn't it natural for her to get pregnant? When she is, we'll trick her into having the baby, and I won't have to suffer through childbirth. But what if my sister finds out the truth later? How will we explain it to her? My father, watching a video, sneered, "Explain? Just look at her slutty behavior in these videos. A woman with such loose morals will ruin the Chiao family name sooner or later. We're just going with the flow." My mother softly consoled my sister, "Wanfeng, you're too kind, feeling sorry for such a whore. Look at her, isn't she enjoying it? You pick one now, see which one's the best in bed, and then send him to Chiao Wantong's bed for a test drive. If he can get her pregnant, we'll take the baby and leave the mother. Mom and Dad will give you all the property, and you and your new husband can live happily ever after. As for our retirement, don't worry. If Chiao Wantong dares not to support us, we'll go to her company and make a scene until she loses her job." Chiao Wanfeng sweetly agreed, glancing triumphantly at me standing outside the door. Watching the 3 people I loved most plotting to exploit me completely, my heart turned ice cold at that moment. What if my sister gets angry about this and refuses to support you? Chiao Wanfeng said, hooking her arm around my father's, her tone feigning concern, but her eyes full of mocking laughter. As soon as the topic came up, my father did get angry, throwing his phone away in fury. She wouldn't dare. With this videos, if she doesn't support us, I'll immediately release them. She'll be ruined and have no choice but to come crawling back. My mother chimed in gleefully, "Exactly. Just look at her wanton behavior in bed. Even if she loses her job, she can still support us with her skills in serving men. Why are you worrying about her? Who knows where she learned those moves? She's probably been selling herself on the side. If it weren't for her providing for us in our old age, we'd have wanted her dead a long time ago. She's just an embarrassment, a laughingstock to the neighbors." My father was even more enraged. "Wanfeng, you must never be like her. Chiao Wantong isn't even a shadow of you." Seeing my parents angry, Chiao Wanfeng quickly snuggled into their arms, comforting them. She glanced at me standing outside the door, a venomous smirk on her lips. Standing there, I felt like I was being stabbed repeatedly. Inside the room, the volume of the video was deliberately turned up. The unconscious sounds I made were piercing my eardrums, making me want to jump off the building out of shame. I clutched my chest, watching the harmonious family of 3. That warmth and happiness never seemed to belong to me. I choked back tears, only repeating one question in my heart, "Mom, Dad, how could you be so biased?" My parents had held my hands and said, "Our Wantang has been alone for so many years, and we're really worried about you. We've found you some great potential partners so you can have someone to rely on for the rest of your life. We might have been strict with you in the past, but it was always out of love. If you find someone you like, tell us, and we've prepared a generous dowry to ensure our daughter won't be bullied in her new home." I was so moved that I almost cried. I thought they had finally changed their minds and realized that I was their daughter too, and that I craved their love just as much. But I was wrong. All their calculations were for Chiao Wanfeng. So, I forced myself to forget the years of their harsh scolding, cold and violent treatment, and wholeheartedly believed them, going on one blind date after another. I even fell asleep after drinking the beverages without suspecting anything, thinking it was just because I was overworked and hadn't rested enough. And when they brought me honey water in bed the next morning and told me the dates had brought me home, I didn't doubt them at all. But now I knew. All their kindness was just to pave the way for Chiao Wanfeng. The love they spoke of was never meant for me. They just wanted to exploit me to the fullest and then give everything to Chiao Wanfeng. At that moment, my heart died completely. Like a walking corpse, I walked into the pouring rain. Cars whizzed past me, but I didn't even flinch. I don't know how long I walked in the rain. Until my parents, holding umbrellas, anxiously called out my name, rushing to find me. Wantong. What's wrong? Why are you walking in the rain? Come on, come home with us. Your dates are still waiting. We've made ginger soup for you. Drink a bowl and then go see them. For a moment, I was lost, then I asked hesitantly, can I not see them? Or, can I not drink the ginger soup? My mother's expression changed subtly, and my father looked annoyed. But my mother stopped him. Don't talk nonsense, silly child. What will happen to your health if you don't drink the ginger soup? What about your future if you don't meet your dates? We're doing this for your own good. Come home with us. Saying that, she grabbed my hand and pulled me towards home. But I looked up. I looked at the umbrella that wasn't even tilted towards me, and I laughed self-deprecatingly. I looked a mess when I got home. The rain had soaked my clothes, clinging to my body. My figure was on full display for the men in the living room. The 8 dates sitting there stared at me greedily. But my parents acted like they didn't see it and enthusiastically greeted them. Our Wantong has been spoiled since she was little. She went out to play and got caught in the rain. Please forgive her. After saying that, my parents didn't even offer me a towel to dry off, but eagerly shoved the ginger soup in front of me. Wantong, this is good for you. After drinking it, you can rest for the day. Look how bedraggled you are. My mother tried to appear gentle and caring, but the disdain in her eyes was still there. She smiled gently, ruffling my wet hair. Drink it quickly, and Mom will dry your hair, otherwise you'll get the bed wet, and those sheets are expensive. Looking at her, clinging to the last glimmer of hope, I asked again, Mom, I don't want to drink the ginger soup, please, can I not drink it? Before I could finish, my father slapped the back of my head. Drink it. Stop talking nonsense. Do you want me to break your legs like I did when you were a kid before you drink it? The dates chuckled at the scene. My last shred of dignity was shattered. Seeing the hurt and pain in my eyes, a hint of heartache flashed in my mother's eyes. She was about to say, forget it, if Wantong doesn't want to drink it. But before she could finish, Chiao Wanfeng came over, took my mother's arm, and cut her off. Oh, come on, sis. How can you be so cold-blooded? Mom worked so hard to make this ginger soup for you. How can you not drink it? When you were little, you didn't understand Mom's good intentions, but now you're going to waste her effort. You shouldn't, sis. You're older than me. Don't you understand such a simple thing? There are so many people watching. My mother hesitated, wanting to say something, but my father rushed over in anger. You're not as sensible as your sister. You're deliberately trying to embarrass the Chiao family in front of others. You have to drink this ginger soup today, whether you want to or not. After saying that, he grabbed the back of my neck and forced the bowl of ginger soup down my throat. Spicy and bitter, just like Why mother's eyes. I looked sadly at my mother and my father, who was still angry, and the despair in my heart almost made me lose the will to live. I tried to move my lips, but the bitter words wouldn't come out. Only my silent mouth was accusing them. Mom, Dad, why can't you love me just once? I quickly passed out. In my last moments of consciousness, I saw my father beckoning the 8 dates to come towards me. Then, under the watchful eyes of my parents, they carried me, who was too weak to resist, into the bedroom. I weakly reached out to my parents, but the door closed mercilessly. In the instant the door closed, I saw my mother's eyes filled with sadness and pain. When I woke up, I already knew what had happened. I lay on the bed, disheveled and miserable, tears streaming down my face. Beside the bed, my father's phone was shamelessly playing the newly recorded video. My mother was coaxing me, Wantong, I'm doing this for your own good. A bad marriage is a lifetime of misery. I just want you to pick the husband you like best. Why are you looking at me like that? Tell me, who treated you the best just now? My eyes were bloodshot as I looked at her, my voice hoarse and unrecognizable. Why don't you let Chiao Wanfeng try it herself? Why bother asking me? As soon as I said that, a crisp slap landed on my face. Xiao Wantong, have you no shame? How can you suggest letting your sister try such a thing? Don't you know how much harm it can do to a girl? It doesn't matter for a used flower like you. But your sister is pure and innocent. How can you treat her like that? Are you even acting like an older sister? I looked at Xiao Wanfeng, who had just walked in, leaning against the door, looking at me triumphantly and provocatively. Pure and innocent? Back in high school, everyone knew she was promiscuous. Whether it was the school bully or the gangsters outside, any guy could easily spend the night with her. She was even more wild in college, using my parents' money to travel, paying for everything with her body wherever she went. She was even proud of it, calling herself a real woman who didn't need money to travel the world. As her sister, I often advised her, but she always looked at me with disdain, saying, Xiao Wantong, you're living in feudal Qing dynasty. You're such an old fossil. What era is it? Why are you using such old-fashioned ideas to restrain me? No wonder you can only study to death at school. I don't even know what you do with those scholarships. Unlike me, I've already traveled to so many countries in Europe. I'm a socialite. You can't compare to me, you country bumpkin. You're ugly enough to even say that? Disgusting. Saying that, she flipped me off and left. After graduating from college, she couldn't find a good job. She spent her days in and out of events, hooking up with rich second-generation heirs. Eventually, she became someone's mistress, carrying designer bags and driving fancy cars, showing off to my parents and making them think she was the successful one. And I, who worked hard, was even more disliked by my parents, and they treated me even worse. But I never thought that Xiao Wanfeng would turn my advice into hatred and have been encouraging my parents to treat me like this for so many years just to get revenge for my advice. Just as I was about to tell my parents the truth, a wave of nausea washed over me. I rushed to the bathroom and threw up. When I came out, I saw the surprised look on my parents' faces. You're not pregnant already, are you? That's great news. Let's go. Let's see who the father is. We need to introduce Wanfeng to him. Those 8 men were handpicked by us, all wealthy heirs. If you have a son, we'll have Wanfeng marry him and our family will finally be set. My parents got more and more excited, not noticing the despair in my eyes. I touched my stomach, feeling the life inside, but said coldly, I took a test this morning, I'm not pregnant. I just caught a cold eye. In the rain and have a stomach ache. Hearing that, my mother was instantly disappointed. My father looked at me with hatred, saying disdainfully, so you're a useless waste who can't even have children. I don't know why we raised you all these years. You're completely useless. A waste of food. Before my parents discovered that I was truly pregnant, I secretly went to a private clinic. On the way, I called my company. I'm applying for a transfer abroad. I'm never coming back. The manager was surprised. Wantong, didn't you say you wanted to take care of your family and didn't want to accept this great opportunity? Why now? Hearing the manager's concerned voice, the smile on my face was bitter and mocking. I don't have a family anymore. The manager seemed to understand and didn't ask any further. Instead, they approved my request. Before lying on the operating table, I booked a plane ticket, planning to leave as soon as the surgery was over. I wanted to avoid my parents, so they wouldn't make a scene at the hospital. But they still told everyone. Even during the surgery, I heard the doctor and nurses talking. Did you hear? The Qiao family's promiscuous daughter is dating 8 men at once and is juggling them all. How slutty can you be? If I had a daughter like that, I'd beat her to death. Playing around like that, who knows what kind of diseases she has? If I ever met her, I'd spit on her. Disgusting. They even asked me, Miss, have you heard about this? I looked sadly at the people in front of me and said, maybe she has her reasons. Give me a break. Everyone knows those kinds of women are born sluts, already used and dirty. How could she have any reasons? If she didn't seduce 8 men at once, would they do those things to her? A woman like that will cheat on her husband. She should be drowned. Oh, by the way, miss, what's your name? We need to register you for a bed after the surgery. I hesitated and finally said in a hoarse voice, Chiao Wantan. Gee. The nurse looked up at me in shock. The doctor was so shocked that his hand trembled. In an instant, a large amount of blood gushed out from under me. His tremor had caused me to hemorrhage. The clinic was in chaos. The doctor shouted, "Emergency! Emergency!" As the blood rushed out, my vision darkened. I felt them frantically pressing on my chest, trying to save me. But at that moment, I hoped I would just die. Just then, the door opened. Chiao Wanfeng burst in, screaming at the scene, "So, you hid your pregnancy from us? How could you treat a little life so cruelly? That was supposed to be my riches and glory. Chiao Wantang, you can't stand seeing me happy, you want to ruin my life, don't you?" The nurse tried to pull her out. But she refused and, as she was being dragged out, she called my parents, crying and wailing, "Mom, Dad, my sister almost killed me, but even so, I don't blame her, because she's my sister. But I can't live anymore. I'll repay your kindness in the next life." My father's curses and my mother's condemnations came through the thin door of the operating room. Lying weakly on the operating table, a weak, mocking smile appeared on my lips. Seeing me like that, the doctor did chest compressions even harder. He panicked and said to me, "Hold on. Miss Chiao. Please hold on. You can't die in our clinic." But my eyes really couldn't open anymore. I really didn't want to stay in this world that had never loved me. A tear rolled down my cheek. I closed my eyes. The piercing beep of the machines filled my ears. Soon, my parents arrived at the clinic. After finally calming Chiao Wanfeng down, they rushed to my bed, ready to berate me. But what they didn't expect was that my bed was spotless, as if no one had ever been there. Only a piece of paper lay quietly on top. My parents exchanged glances, a sense of foreboding rising in their hearts. They quickly picked up the paper and saw that it said. The doctor walked in, interrupting my parents. "The patient T in this bed is gone. If you're her family, please pack up her belongings. We need to give this bed to the next patient." Saying that, they began to clear the bed. Seeing this, my father cursed in disgust, "What bad luck, rushing over here to clean up all this bad luck. Wanfeng, where's Chiao Wantang? She can't even help us. Unlike you, who's always by our side, that beast is nothing like you. When she gets home tonight, we're going to teach her a lesson, see if she dares to cause any more trouble." My father said angrily. He saw my mother trying to open the paper and snatched it away, crumpling it up and shoving it into his pocket. "What are you looking at? Didn't the doctor say we should help? Let's hurry up, otherwise, we won't be able to teach her a lesson if she gets home first and locks the door." My mother looked at the paper and stammered, "I have a feeling that paper might be about Wantang, you should." Seeing this, Chiao Wanfeng quickly took my mother's arm. "Oh, Mom. You know how my sister is. She's been wild so many times since she was little, she's probably out messing around with some guy, why are you worried about her? Let's go home, otherwise, like Dad said, we'll have less time to teach her a lesson." My mother wanted to say something, but Chiao Wanfeng dragged her out of the clinic. That day, my parents waited at home for a long time, but I didn't come back. Chiao Wanfeng, wanting to see me make a fool of myself, sent me countless messages. "Sis, why aren't you back yet? Are you scared? Don't even think about it, you're just a dog under my feet. Luckily, I had you to take the blame for all the things I did. That blood bond between us is so useful." Video, oops, sis, look, I accidentally leaked that video of you. You better come back and let Mom and Dad vent their anger. Don't even think about exposing me and trying to drag us down together. If you dare to post anything, those videos you see above will soon be accidentally leaked all over T. He whirled. At this point, my mother was getting worried. She called me several times from her and my father's phones. But every call went straight to voicemail. My father was furious. "That shameless bitch, now she's learned to run away from home. Just wait until she gets back, I'll teach her a lesson." But, even now, they didn't realize that I wasn't receiving anything they sent. Just then, the doorbell rang. My mother rushed to open the door, but it was a stranger in a delivery uniform. He looked at her and said, "Are you Qiao Wantong's family? I have a document for you to sign." He handed her an envelope. My mother took it, puzzled, and opened it while asking what document needs us to sign for her. But when she pulled out the document, she froze. It clearly stated, Qiao Wantong death certificate. My parents stared at the death certificate for a long time, at first in disbelief. Ha, that little bitch Qiao Wantong is trying to trick us. Does she really think we'll feel sorry for her? Did she plan this with you, just to get our attention? Tell me where she is. We're going to teach her a lesson. Annoyed, the delivery person said, "Why don't you check her ID to see if she's dead or not?" This reminded my mother. She took out her phone and checked my information. The black and white words account closed finally hit her hard. Her legs gave way and she slid down the wall, bursting into a sorrowful cry. My daughter. My father stared at the words account closed, speechless. His eyes were bloodshot, his hands trembling. Wantong, it's a lie, right? Just then, my mother suddenly got up from the ground and frantically searched my father's pockets. She found the crumpled paper in his pocket. She hurriedly opened it and rushed out the door. Confused, my father followed her, until they stopped at a place where valuable items were stored. My mother found a safety deposit box, happily taking out a document while saying, "The death certificate must be a trick by Want. Ang, she's fine, so she left this note as a prank, she's as naughty as when she was a kid." But before she could finish, the document she retrieved using the code on the paper made her freeze. It clearly stated, Qiao Wanfeng's promiscuous record. My father, who had been following closely, was furious. He snatched the document and tore it open, looking at each page, saying, "I'll see how Wantong is trying to frame her sister." But the more he read, the less he could say. Her face was ashen. When Mom finally flipped to the last page, to my memorial photo, she erupted in a heart-wrenching cry. My Tang Tang. Qiao Wanfeng, who had followed her in, saw Mom weeping for me like this, and her face twisted with jealousy. "She brought it on herself," she spat. "She was trash. What's there to cry about?" Before she could finish, Dad's furious slap landed on her face. "You bitch. Who gave you permission to talk about your sister like that? You're the one who's been doing all the dirty, rotten things, and now you're trying to pin them on her. You've disgraced the Qiao family." Qiao Wanfeng fell to the ground, blood filling her mouth. She stared in horror as Dad threw photos in her face, explicit photos of her in bed with several men. Panic seized her. Her face contorted into an ugly mask. She scrambled to Dad's feet like a dog, clutching his leg and begging, "Dad. She set me up. She's just jealous that you all treat me so well, that you love me." A setup? Mom slapped the other side of Qiao Wanfeng's face. Her face instantly swelled like a grotesque caricature. "We raised Tang Tang ourselves. Don't you think we know what kind of person she was? We've heard about your promiscuous life. What is this? Trying to play the innocent virgin now that you want to get married? If it weren't for you, would your sister be dead?" And no. Qiao Wanfeng sobbed hysterically, shaking her head. But she couldn't elicit a shred of sympathy from Mom and Dad. They were consumed by the agony of losing me forever, beyond consolation. "Qiao Wanfeng, you disgust us. Having a daughter like you makes us sick." With that, Mom and Dad turned to leave. The 8 men she was supposed to meet for arranged dates, having heard the commotion, arrived and exchanged confused glances, asking what had happened. Dad grabbed Qiao Wanfeng by the hair and threw her at their feet. "Take this trash. The woman you thought you loved was actually my eldest daughter. She was wonderful, but this vicious sister murdered her. When she died, our Tang Tang was even carrying all 8 of your children. For the sake of your unborn children, I think you should decide her fate. This is what she owes her sister. Whatever you do to her is compensation for her sister." Qiao Wanfeng looked at the men closing in, and finally screamed in terror, "Mom. Dad. You can't ruin me like this. I'm supposed to marry into a wealthy family and live the good life. You promised." But this time, Mom and Dad didn't even acknowledge her. Xiao Wanfeng's desperate cries were drowned out by the furious roars of the 8 men. They unleashed all their pain and loss on her. While Xiao Wanfeng was getting what she deserved, I was waking up in a foreign country. In the clinic that day, the doctors had used every resource to bring me back. Weak and trembling, I grabbed the doctor and nurse's hands, desperately begging them to keep my survival a secret. Then, dragging my broken body, I boarded the plane to a foreign country with a suitcase that had been prepared long ago. After arriving overseas, it took a long time for me to recover, and then get out of that terrible thing. During my time working abroad, I met Xiao Linsuan, who was very kind to me. As a new intern in the company, he was sunny, tall, handsome and cheerful, completely different from someone like me, who had been immersed in family haze for many years. I was deeply attracted to him, but I never dared to face my heart. Until he crossed mountains and seas and broke into my world. He backed me against the wall and asked me, "Why are you always hiding from me? Aren't we partners?" I wanted to excuse myself with work, but his gentle eyes made me unable to speak. I finally told him the truth. "I'm a woman who has suffered a lot. You're too good for me." In response, Xiao Linsuan took my hand into his warm palm and said softly, "Tang Tang, you're great. In fact, I liked you the first time I saw you. Your special temperament and your excellent work ability deeply attract me. Not everyone's life is bright and sunny. Flowers that have gone through the baptism of rain and are still proud are the most beautiful scenery in the world." His sincerity finally made me feel unprecedented warmth. He didn't force me to establish a relationship with him, but continued to encourage me and take me out of the haze in my future work. Later, after he learned about my past from my colleagues, he rushed over and hugged me tightly. "Tang Tang, you don't have to blame yourself. None of this is your fault. You are the cleanest and purest person in the world. Don't punish yourself for other people's mistakes. I came to your world too late and couldn't protect you. If I can, I hope to be able to protect you for the rest of my life." After listening to Xiao Linsuan's confession, I finally completely let go of my guard and kissed him without reservation. At that moment, my sunny day finally came. The people around us were moved to tears by our love and couldn't help but applaud us. I lowered my head shyly, letting Xiao Linsuan hold my hand tightly, announcing to everyone the unbreakable vows between us. Later I learned that Xiao Linsuan was not an intern at all. His true identity was the heir of the Xiao Group. Coming to the company as an intern was just to go deep into the grassroots and better understand the company's operations and everything. Not long after proposing to me, he returned to his seat, and my position in the company has also risen step by step due to my excellent work ability and my relationship with Xiao Linsuan. Soon I became the company's #1 in the world. With Xiao Linsuan's company in the long work, I gradually forgot the nightmarish past. We soon entered the Palace of Marriage, and soon after, we moved to Xiao Linsuan's manor in Europe. Every morning when I wake up from the big bed in the manor, there are also a pair of lovely little babies belonging to me and Xiao Linsuan, opening their round eyes and accompanying me to welcome the beautiful new world. I still remember that on the day of production, Xiao Linsuan printed an infinitely affectionate kiss on my forehead. "The person I should thank most in this world is my baby Tang Tang. It is you who withstood the endless wind and rain that we can finally meet in a foreign country. From now on, it's not just me who will protect you, my lovely little wife, but also our children, who will come with me to protect their dearest mother." I was immersed in infinite happiness, and tears welled up in my eyes. Because of work transfers, Xiao Linsuan and I finally returned to China with our children after many years of absence from our homeland. Just after getting off the plane, I saw a pair of haggard old people, hunched over and running towards me. When they saw me, they were so excited that they couldn't even speak. Their faces were full of regret and pain, mixed with the joy of reunion after a long absence. "Tang Tang, it's Mom and Dad." Mom grabbed my hand and said in tears, "Tang Tang, Mom is sorry for you. Mom is sorry for you. It was Mom who mistakenly believed what your sister said at the time that made such cruel things to you. It's all Mom's fault." Dad was even more pained, We now know that our Tang Tang is the best good daughter in the world, and that bitch has gotten her due. I followed the direction of their fingers. In that dirtiest corner, dirty Chiao Wanfeng curled up into a ball madly, and was reported by countless reporters, guns and cannons on her face. According to the latest news, this is Miss Chiao, who framed her own sister in order to cover up her promiscuity. She finally paid a heavy price for her indiscretion. This is a typical example of retribution. I silently watched everything in front of me, looking at my mom and dad in front of me with flattering smiles, but my heart could no longer make any waves. Tang Tang, come home, mom has prepared your favorite dishes for you. In the past few years, your dad has also carefully taken care of your room every day, just to make you feel like everything is still the same when you go back. Mom and dad already know they were wrong and will never let anyone hurt our Tang Tang again. Tang Tang, are you willing to give mom and dad a chance to make up for their regrets for you? Mom and dad only have one daughter like you, and they never want to lose you again. They said with tears in their eyes in front of me. But it didn't arouse half of the sympathy and pity in my heart. Mr. Chiao, Miss Chiao, I hope you don't say such things in the future. You have the wrong person. I am not your daughter. Your daughter died long ago on the operating table of that clinic. It was you who personally pushed her into that hell. As for making up for it, it doesn't exist at all. In this world, if harm and compensation are useful, then there will be no pain in the world. I said indifferently. But I was accidentally hugged into a warm and solid embrace. Xiao Linsuan came to my side and gently put his arms around me. He turned to my parents, with an unprecedented coldness in his eyes. Tang Tang has struggled in that purgatory for so many years and spent so much effort to climb up, not to suffer again. If you really have a shred of guilt towards your daughter, then from now on, please stay away from her life. This is the last thing you can give her. After saying that, he hugged me and left without looking back. Behind me, I heard my parents burst into extremely painful wails. Tang Tang, mom and dad were wrong. Mom and dad will spend their whole lives atone for you. Can you forgive mom and dad? Xiao Linsuan covered my ears with both hands, his tone so gentle that it could almost pinch water. Tang Tang, don't listen. I took off his hands with a smile, looked at him intently and said, don't worry, I am no longer the Chiao Wantong of many years ago. I have already returned my life to them that day, and now I have my real family who needs to be cared for here, and I will love them wholeheartedly for the rest of my life. After saying that, I gave him an extremely gentle kiss, and then walked out of the airport with him, each holding a cute baby. Not long after, I heard the news that my parents had jointly sent the 8 matchmakers to court. And after they got the verdict from the 8 matchmakers, they turned themselves in and went to prison. They confessed everything they had done back then. As for those videos and photos, they completely disappeared from the world in a big fire at my old house. At that moment, the heavy haze that shrouded my head could finally completely dissipate, and the long-lost sunshine that belonged to me finally shone on me again after many years. I cried bitterly in Xiao Linsuan's arms and completely vented my grievances over the years. The 2 cute babies also rushed over to wipe away my tears and gently coaxed me and said, Mom, don't cry. I looked at my new family in front of me gently and said to them, with you, I will never cry again in the future. Xiao Linsuan stretched out his arms and hugged me and the babies into his arms. He looked at me with a smile and said, don't be afraid, we will protect mom together in the future. I was immersed in endless happiness, and in that warm sun, I saw the bright future that should have belonged to me.